Yo, what up? What up, guys? Looking gorgeous. Thanks, dude. Yo. Little mustache. Milky old man. Yeah, dude, I am. I have some new maps to show off to you guys today. Or I at least have one new map. So take a look at this. We're at Easy Day High School right now, right? Look at this one. Easy Day Middle School. This is by Blacklock and STPN. Currently supporter map. It will be released a couple of weeks from now, I think, though. So you can like spawn, like there's these trash cans and garbage on the ground. You could spawn them away if you want. Props off. It's not there anymore. Props on. We're back. Yeah, the clouds move on this map. It's a fairly small map too, so there's nothing crazy here. Like this is the whole entire map. So nowhere near as big as Easy Day High School, but same kind of assets and stuff. Oh my goodness. Got some snacks and ready to watch Milky. What snacks you got? Little sippy cup. Thoughts on the next update? Man, you know, the longer that we all wait, the more I'm expecting. My hope is going down, but my expectations are going up. Like, I hope that they're still going to add the update, but the longer that we wait for it, the more stuff I hope they add. Like, we need maps, man. This is pretty sick looking. I like this. I wish the pants were a bit baggier. Like, wait, hold on. Oh my god, dude. Oh! Oh! 18 people! He's a nice dude. Yeah, he sent me a new map. I'll show you guys in a bit. It's the new session map. Like this one right here. I'll show you right now, actually. It's not the whole entire, like, spot. This is basically the whole map right here. It's really sick, though. It kind of ends, like, right here. You can skip the roof and stuff. Like, you know, you can't skip up here in session, can you? Maybe you can. All right, we're gonna try out the big city now. You can't get a glitch up. Imagine being able to drive a car in Skater XL. Yeah, I think being able to drive a car is massive, and I hope that the next skate game, like, I really want to be able to drive cars in a skateboarding game without people like using the car to go off ramps and stuff. If they could prevent that. This is my opinion. I think if you can skateboard across an entire map or world, it's too small. Like if you could skate like actually from one side to the other side in a reasonable time, it's way too small. You need to have cars or transportation to get to places where you can't walk and skate and stuff. Give it that sense of like actual like realism that you're actually in a world and not just a map. Like GTA. You can't just walk across GTA. Like you could, but you wouldn't want to. No, I'm not giving any hints at all. I'm just saying what I would like in a skateboarding game. I want that in this game. I want that in Session. I want that in all skateboarding games. The whole package. Imagine like you have to jump into a car with your friends and like just go around cruising, looking for spots, playing some music on different channels, like different stations, like a skate trip, looking for spots. You'll find spots that nobody's ever skated before and stuff because the map is so big that you're the first person to find it. Like, dude, that's what skateboarding's all about. Yeah, just go to Google Earth and just import that, and there's the map. That's it. Just the whole entire world. And then you take Microsoft Flight Simulator and put that into the game. Then you can fly around the whole world. Then you add Skater XL to it. There you go. Good to go. Let's take my money. Yeah, this map is sick now. I don't know. It feels different. Like, I can't tell what is different, but the lighting for sure. My game just crashed. It was going so well. I was talking about how good the map was, and it just crashed. Look at my nostrils are just, like, painted on. This spot right here is really sick. This little plaza thing. Wait, what? Bruh! Oh, he's playing Costin. So, who is Chris Roberts facing? The heck? This spot right here is sick. I want to get out there and film for another vlog video, but I should actually just, you know, go live one day at the park again and just stream. Maybe this week we'll do it. Wait, my arms are broken. What the heck? All right, there we go. Oh my, yo. Mods, you can basically make a whole new game. Yeah, that's how modding works for every game, though. That's why how the GTA 5 roleplay does so well. It's all modded, you know. 5M servers, Skyrim modded, Red Dead Redemption modded. Changes the game completely. I haven't worn Nike shoes in a while. I used to only use Janowski's back in like high school. Been rocking a lot of S and Etnies lately, though. My last pair of Eddie's Baranas, they lasted literally all last skate season. And now I have a pair of S Swifts. It seems like they're gonna do the same thing. They're lasting like all year. I don't know. I love supporting like the smaller companies. Like, although I would love to wear a pair of Dunks, I just like to throw my money at like S or somebody. Ah! I got some Yeezys, 350s, Boost 1. Got the Crocs. Actually look kind of sick. Flip-flops. I don't have any skin for those ones. Timberlands. Hey. Skate concrete waves daytime? I'm down. Go there right now. Oh. Yeah, no word from me today. Whatever. I don't think they're gonna actually like get back to us, though. I think their initial reply that they would respond was like a knee-jerk kind of reaction. I don't think they're actually gonna respond to anything, though. I don't think they have to either. I mean, no matter if, you know, people will say good things, bad things, they're still gonna be working on multiplayer and silent, and they're gonna release it regardless if people are here or not. I don't know. I think obviously it sucks for everybody, but they don't get enough credit for, you know, being the creators of our favorite skateboarding game. We all wish it was different and better, and obviously I do too. But you gotta give them some credit where it's due, man. Like, we have this game, we're playing it right now. If it wasn't for Easy Day Studios, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you guys. I think they deserve a lot of credit. I think they deserve more credit than anybody else making skateboarding games. They invented, John invented the best skateboarding controls that are available on the market right now. Like, this game is the best feeling skateboarding game, even without mods, than any other game out there. And I think this is going to change the future of every skateboarding game to come. Even if this game doesn't do well, it's influenced a whole new generation of skateboarding games. People are upset at certain people at the studio right now, but really this product is from a passion project that started from the EA Skate blogs. This game started on Skate Flucket, which was a Skate 3 blog. Like, this game was posted 6 years ago And Jay Boogie found it, and him and John worked together for a little bit to get this thing right. And it was a hardcore game at the time. This game was super hardcore, even way hardcore than it is now. You had to push with your stick, and every trick you had to catch it. The way that it is now, like with a small studio, and with the amount of money they have to put into the game, they have to cut corners because it's such a small studio. They have, you know, salaries to pay, and, you know, stuff definitely didn't make it to the game, which they wanted to include, but they had to sacrifice certain things to get it out to you guys. So a lot of stuff that was left out was, you know, there's a lot of ways to think about it, but all of it was like a business decision to save money so they can continue to work on their product to the future. I think in many ways too that the move to console, even though it's bare bones, like a lot of games these days, they come out very bare bones, and they use the profits from the release to put back into the game to make it a better game. Like, if they're actually working on a game, maybe they're actually working on the game. They don't sit on social media and promise things. Like, what's the good of one person sitting on social media replying that they're working on a game when all he's doing is replying to people on social media? No, they actually make the game. Like, as slow as it is, they're probably, you know, just not even looking at the social medias for the most part, just working on the next update instead of wasting time reading stuff that is probably super negative and makes them discouraged anyway. Like, why would they want to read that? Bro, I hate hype. I hate hype so much. I hate being promised great things, like this game's gonna be the best game in the world. They don't deliver. Like, that's basically what's happening. They don't promise us stuff. They don't hype stuff up, because a lot of times what happens in gaming is people expect so much from all this hype, it's going to be the best thing ever, then they get it and it's not that good. As much as like I wish they communicated, it's kind of crazy to see that they actually do rely on just content to sell more copies of the game. They don't rely on hype until they actually have something to show. And I think sometimes too, like when they're working on something in the game or plan on working on something, there's no guarantee that it's going to work. Right? So it has to be tested and fleshed out and make sure it works on everything. And if it doesn't work, then they can't add it to the game. So maybe they have some big ideas, but they don't want to backtrack to you guys, you know, what they promise you in like a blog post or something. I'm not trying to defend them, by the way. I'm not trying to defend them for like their actions. I think there should be communication. But at the same time, I think this is the best skateboarding game. And I think it'll continue to be the best skateboarding game for quite a long time. Especially with the modders, you know, especially with the modders, though. Don't you think XL and Session teams kind of need to do something before EA releases the next Skate sequel? It'll be most of their player base? I don't think so. I think the next Skate game will make Session and Skater XL sell way more copies than ever before, because EA will market to an audience that will never have been reached by Skater XL and Session. You'll have people buying Session and Skater XL just because they got back into Skate. So I think like a lot of us will, you know, buy Skate and transfer over there, and we'll still play Session and Skater XL. But I think thousands of people will buy Skater XL and Session that have never heard about it before because they're looking for skateboarding games. So I think like skateboarding games are gonna blow up, like in general, across the board. I don't know. Like obviously, like the mods, like Easy Day knows though. This is just a fact. Easy Day knows that they can't produce as much content as the community. You guys make the most gear and stuff for this game, like maps. And they know that. That's why they have open mod support. Like you can openly mod this game. Whereas like Session, you can't mod it that easy. You just can't do that. You have to rely on the studio to add content. But with Skater XL, it's been moddable since day one. And it's not because like people want as much content as possible. And if you give them the tools to do that, they'll do it. They buy it for the mods? That's not true though. Like, it's true now, but I bought the game when there was no mods. So what's the deal? Like, I bought this game when there was no mods, and I liked it a lot. And obviously, the mods made it better. Not for 40. I would have, though. I mean, if it was 40 bucks, I would have to flush out 40 bucks. But, you know, it was 20 bucks at the time, so I spent 20 bucks. But the mods definitely made the experience so much better and add so much to the game, but I still played the game a lot with no mods on just the courthouse map by itself. One thing that really sucked though is the fact that when, you know, you see content creators like me Garrett, Night Speeds, whoever, like making YouTube videos, especially before the release of the game, and all the content was all modded, and then the game comes out on console, and there's basically nothing out there that had console footage. It was just like, you know, mods. So a lot of people thought that the game was, you know, this. But in reality, this game isn't vanilla. Controls are absolutely dialed, like it's perfect. It's such a great start. That's what it feels like. It feels like a great start to something that could be so big, but it's just not quite there yet. And we all see the potential in it. But nobody knows if they see that same potential that we do. Because they don't act upon these things. And a lot of people in the community do, like Dog, you know, making a stats menu and stuff. Like, all these mods are things that people want in the core game without mods. It's crazy that Session is listening to the community and are gonna build the ultimate game. But like, listen, as much as I want that to happen, I have seen so many times, how could you promise the best game and not have a product to show, you know? They have to deliver. You can't just say it's gonna be the best and not make it the best. It's gotta be the best. Then when it's the best, you say it's the best. I expected a lot from like Cyberpunk, and like a lot of games were supposed to be huge, and they just kind of flop because people hyped them up way too much, expected so much. But, you know, especially with Creature being a small dev team, you really can't expect that much. Same thing with Easy Day Studios, you know? But whatever you get, I'm really happy with. And every session update I'll be checking out and playing and stuff, but I'm already kind of burnt out of Session. It's like, it's not as fun to play. The animations they want, it's not even the animations. Like, animations, like, it does not matter. It's the controls. Tony Hawk Pro Skater has sick animations. And you press a couple buttons and the trick happens and it's like sick animation. For me, I like to be the person in control of what's happening. I don't like canned animations. I don't want to do a kickflip on the controller, then watch a kickflip happen. That was like a mocap animation that was pre-recorded, and it's the same way every single time I do it, with no variation ever. Before release, we were promised an evolving game. Yeah, that's very true. But it is an evolving game, though. I think in a couple of years, when you look back, it will be a lot different. But I think we all expected it to be like, you know, AAA updates every month or 2 months. We'll have like patch notes, an update. It's not quite that easy, though. I think multiplayer is the hardest thing to add to any video game ever. Like, to have proper working servers, crossplay, have everything working. I think multiplayer is the hardest thing to add to any game. And after they release multiplayer, it'll be smooth sailing, hopefully, because it's a big structure to kind of make from the ground up. Everybody wants different things. And currently, Session and XL, they offer different things, even though they're both like hardcore skate games. I would say Session's more hardcore, but yeah. Different experiences. Skate 3's multiplayer was great. The only thing keeping Skate 3 alive right now is multiplayer. And I think if anything's going to keep this game alive for years to come, even without mods or updates, it will be multiplayer. Like, after they update this, you know, people will always play it. Multi's gonna be the biggest thing for XL. It's gonna be massive. I can almost guarantee they're gonna release a map with it. They have to. I think that will keep this game alive are updates. Maybe. The way that I play this game and the way that it is right now, it's just like just skateboarding. You just plop in, you just skate. It'd be cool if there was like missions, stuff to do, but I think that the skateboarding is perfected almost, especially with the mods. Like with the mods that I have and stuff, if I always have this is all I ever wanted in a skateboarding game, really. A little bit more stuff like driving in cars and story mode and, you know, multiplayer would be sick, but it's almost perfect. The way that I have it set up right now, it's almost perfect. I feel like if I took a 2-year break from this game, I'd probably still come back and play it this same way. It's almost like just like skateboarding in real life. Like, I don't need to go to a new skate park every single day to make skateboarding fun. I could just go to my local skate park every day. Doesn't mean that this game should never have an update again, but there's different levels of skaters, I guess. I just love skating in every form, and I bought this game when it was one map and no mods. For some people, that's not enough, right? They want more. For me, though, this is all I ever really wanted. Relax, waste some time, yeah. Like for a small indie dev studio, this game doesn't really feel like that. Obviously with the mods, like the community mods and stuff, this game feels absolutely massive. There's hundreds and hundreds of maps, but the quality of the gameplay is like top tier. Is like it's insane. I don't even know if Skate can live up to this. I hope they do, but like this game, like it feels so sick to play. I wish everyone could have our experience. Exactly, yeah. The fact that this isn't like, you know, you can't do this on console, it's definitely a problem. I don't like it. I mean, it's slightly heartbreaking that PC and console doesn't have the same stuff, but loads of games, PC versus console, PC always comes on top in this aspect, yeah. And it's the same thing with Session, and if Skate got released on PC, it would definitely be the same thing. Every game ever is better on PC, in my opinion. Like, just resolution, frame rate, and then with mods, if there are mods, like, just the way that it is. I think a big part of the problem is PC players paid a lot less and got a lot more, whereas console players pay $40 for a bare bones game. It's pretty true though. You're pretty right. Like, I paid $20 for this game, but I also paid $250 to have P-Tech made. I paid Dog $9 or whatever a month to have the XXL mod, and I've been using that Patreon for like over a year now. If you really want all the maps in this game, all the mods on PC, you'll probably end up paying a couple $100 easily. You don't really see that from a console perspective. Like, you don't really see that, but like when you get a PC, you'll have to you're probably going to want to, you know, buy a supporter map, which is an additional cost, you know. The price of the PC itself, exactly. The cost of the PC itself is like 3 consoles. I think like a big part of it, I think you've made this point, but the community is a big part of the game. Like, the real downfall with this game is that the community is like, they're involved, but they get ignored. I don't understand. Like, they're involved with the community. We have gear and maps like in the game, but just no real communication. You know, didn't know they made stuff like that paid now. I mean, that's where the whole drama started from. For a long time, the XXL mod, with all the good features, was in DogVinci's Patreon. So you had to be a subscriber to DogVinci monthly to have access to the latest features of the stats menu. And if you weren't a part of the Patreon, you wouldn't have access to any of that stuff. Dog changed the game for everyone. I mean, his mods are insane. I get he's making money. Yeah. I wish that they could just work together. Like, if he's to hire Dog, I think it'd be bad because, well, Dog wouldn't want to work for them in the first place, I don't think. But I think we wouldn't get as much updates from him because he would be like on the official team and wouldn't be allowed to release stuff. But I wish they could work together more. Or at least put him on the payrolls, you know? Dog knows a lot about this game, like, more than almost anybody. And I think he knows what this game should have added to it to make it, you know, play better for more people, more accessible. Session's harder. But you could play Skater XL harder too, though. You can make it really, really hard on yourself. Skater XL is easy by default. You can jump in the game, do some kickflips right away. You won't fall as easily. XL, it's not very forgiving. Or sorry, Session's not very forgiving. So you have to do the proper trick or else it won't work. But with mods in Skater XL, like the level of difficulty can be, you can make it harder and harder and harder with mods. You can with Session too, because they have a stats menu, but it's not as in depth as XL. Yeah, you can make Skater XL like impossible to do tricks. You can make it to the point where you have to be so precise that you won't land unless you do it absolutely perfect. So Session's physics-based like XL. It's physics-based, but the what's the best way to explain it? I don't know. It's definitely hardcore, and it's very similar to XL, but it's very just input-based. XL though, this game right here, this is skate controls split into two sticks. Like, just imagine these controls, but on one stick. Like, you would scoop and flick upward to do kick flips. So you scoop and flick upward. It's a flick controls in 2 sticks. And also, like, if you go press up on the left stick, which would have been up on this stick for nollie, you know, and then you would flick downward, which would be like this. You would go up on this and flick down, which is basically just like up and down on one stick. So like it's flicking controls, but the flick is on one foot and the scoop is on another foot. So flick and scoop are separate from each other, whereas flick it's on one stick. And on skate, you moved around with your stick, you know? So like you were doing tricks with one thumb and you would turn with the other one. And then I think you would grab with these, right? Skate had fluid controls though, one motion, not multiple inputs. Yeah. This is also the reason why SkateRX controls are right. Like they're correct. They're correct to real life. There's a nose and a tail. That's it. With Session, there's 2 noses and 2 tails for one control scheme. And it doesn't work. It breaks the game. I would like if you can like pop it but like do this, and then your other stick would make it flatten out. So you couldn't actually ollie properly unless you use both sticks. You need to be able to kick the board when it's angled. Like for a kickflip in real life, you kick it when it's up. Like that's more true to a real kickflip. You would actually kick it after you popped and you're in the air a little bit. With Skater XL, it's so snappy that like you have to like to make it look realistic, you have to like actually kind of play it like Session like a little bit. Like if you want to do a cricket grind, you could just do this. Just like straight-legged cricket grind, because it's so responsive. Like I'm sitting straight up. You can't do that in Session. You have to like literally bend down and then do the trick. It'd be kind of interesting to rotate the stick 90 degrees counterclockwise so the feet move accurately in reference to my own body, not the skaters. Yeah, somebody posted those controls in my Discord. So if I was sitting there like this, my right arm would be like this would be popping, and this would be nollie. So as if I was standing sideways. Because the skater is moving forward, but me and the skater right now are perpendicular to each other. If my controls were mapped out as if I had a board like under my feet, you know? That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's a cool option. It's the same thing as this, just mapped sideways. So I think people's reference is always a bit different, like in how they kind of think of the controls. When you use our switch stance, do you also bring the chair the other way? What do you mean? No, I'm running backwards. So my controls are backwards. So like an ollie is like this. So since I'm a regular skater, if I was going this direction, goofy, I would fakie ollie the same way as a regular ollie and switch ollie the same way as a nollie. It's backwards because I'm going backwards. Imagine they made like a chair that actually did that by itself and just like made you do this. Yeah, that'd be sick. I actually don't mind section controls too much, but I have to that they're wrong because of this reason, right? So you do a kick flip the same way I do a switch flip. It's the same difficulty for both of us. It's the same controls. XL has the same controls as Session in the game. It's already here. Like there's regular controls and there's goofy controls. Settings, goofy. So now look at this. Now I'm pressing down on my left stick and up on the right stick to flick. If I was in my regular stance like this, which is switched now, I can't even press down on my back stick anymore because I'm in my uncomfortable stance. So this would have to be upwards. After playing Session a lot though, I can actually kind of play like this way more easily. So I would have to push. If I was a goofy dominant skater, it would be my left foot backwards, and then a kickflip would be like my right foot off to the right side. If I was regular in my switch stance, that input wouldn't work because this isn't my dominant foot. I have to do it like a nollie flip. So it'd be like this. It would be up, which is I'm going backwards, so my foot goes the opposite direction, and then that way. So the total opposite direction of everything because I'm going backwards. It's mirrored. In real life, a switch flip, I mean, a goofy person's regular kickflip and a switch flip, they're not different because like you only have 2 feet. But the way that this translates to a simulation skateboarding game, you have to make those feel different because there are 2 kinds of skateboarders. There's goofy and regular skaters. And both of those same movements should feel different depending on what stance you're dominant in. It's very important that the switch flip should feel switch and not be a backwards kickflip. Tell this to P-Rod, yeah. So like when it comes to like Shane O'Neill or P-Rod, that makes sense. They have no dominant stance really. So like, you know, people like that really do kick flips and switch flips the same way that Session's laid out. When it comes down to it, if you were like a Shane O'Neill or P-Rod person, you would just be good at these controls, like Skater XL controls. You would just be skating like this, and you'd just be good at switch. Like this is true switch. It's backwards from my regular stance. I can still skate just as good switch and nollie as I can regular and fakie, but it takes a lot of practice because it's all backwards. The more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. But you should not be as good at switch as you are regular day one. That should not happen. You should pick a stance. Like, you should jump into the game. All right, what stance am I comfortable with? Goofy or regular? You pick it. You spawn in. You would do a kick flip. Okay, easily. You go switch. You should have a hard time doing a switch flip because it's not your comfortable stance. You shouldn't be able to do it right away. That should be a learning curve. The fact that it doesn't feel different is one thing, but the real problem with the control scheme with Session is the fact that there's multiple inputs for the same thing. And it breaks the immersion, and it just completely goes against everything that a simulation should be about. Imagine you could accelerate and reverse a car with 2 different buttons. Like, imagine you could accelerate a car with this button and this button, and then you could brake or reverse with this button and this button. Well, in Session, you can go into this position with 2 inputs, and in this position with 2 inputs. Like when you do a 180 to a manual, you're pressing upwards, then you can press downward to do the same manual. Like, there's so many overlapping inputs that it makes it almost impossible to really feel like you're skating. The Session control scheme is correct. It's right. It's correct, but it needs to be split into 2. This is the thing that people don't understand. It needs to be split in half. There's 2 kinds of skateboarders. There's goofy and regular. They should take the control scheme and cut them out in half. If you took the regular stance and the goofy stance and Skater XL and put it into one control scheme, that would be Session controls. Either they're right, and like the problem with a Session, and I think, you know, you can't be too jaded by IRL experience. Like, this isn't IRL. Like, you know, it's a simulation-based game. Both games, Skater XL and Session. Skateboarding knowledge only goes so far. You have to have video game knowledge. And like, you have to be playing a lot of different skateboarding games. You have to not only understand IRL skateboarding, but you have to understand video games and controls and why things work the way they do and why they don't work the way they don't. And if you can't see that, that's not a good thing, man. I don't know. I think XL and Session, they're directly comparable, even though that, you know, whatever version they call the game doesn't matter. 1.0, 2.0, 0.00 doesn't matter. They've been out for the same amount of time. They've been in development for 5+ years, both games. That's all I care about, the amount of time. If I was Switch, the reason I'm pressing up is because that is forward. Like, backwards right now is forward. Session has first person and it still makes more sense. What do you mean? There's only two sides of my board. There's only a tail and a nose. Right? If I'm pressing my nose up like this with my left stick and do a manual revert, I'm still pressing my nose. So with XL, you have to press up, because that's the nose. Because I'm a regular base skater. If I was goofy though, if I was a goofy skater, it's a different story. That would be backwards on the left stick. And then if I was in my regular stance or my switch stance, I can't even spawn because I can't even play that way. It would be, yeah, up on my nose. Go to regular. It works. So you have to realize that although in real life you have a left foot and a right foot, they go the same direction. If a person does a goofy kick flip and I do a switch flip, physically we're doing the same thing. We're both moving our feet the same direction. We're both, you know, our foot going backwards, left foot backwards, right foot forward for the kick flip. But the difference is, when I do a switch, it's so much harder for me to do. It's so much harder for me to do than it should be for him. It should not be the same input. Like when I translate to a controller, it's different. That's why people get this wrong, because they think they have skateboarding experience. They know that like it is the same and they're right, but they have to realize why it's wrong too, because there's a difference between a switch flip and a goofy flip. or regular, whatever stance you are. There is a difference. In real life, would you push down your left foot when switch? No, in like how it translates to the game and how it should translate. Like since I push up towards my nose, see, I'm a regular skater, I'm regular dominant. I pushed up towards the nose, right? I'm regular. If I'm a regular skater in Goofy, my nose is now my tail. I push up towards the nose, up towards the nose, because you're going backwards. Yeah. So if I was fakie, I press down towards the tail. The tail is forward. I press down. I want it to go down towards the tail. Although like a moving dolly flip is completely different from a moving switch flip IRL. Then the inertia, you have to move against the inertia of like your movement or whatever. So that's correct, but there's no inertia in this game. All right, there is no inertia in video game. I mean, maybe you could program it in somehow, but like I don't feel any feedback from that. There is no inertia. I mean, the argument makes sense if you're going fast, but you have to think about everything. It starts off slow. Like when you really think about how the game should be tweaked, start off from a standstill. And when there's almost no inertia involved at all, you're not going anywhere, you can probably do a nollie flip the same way that you do a switch flip in real life. And the inertia won't affect the way that the trick is performed because you're not really moving very fast. And if you're standing still, what is that? A switch flip or a nollie flip? Well, it's both. It's both. Kick flip or a fakie flip? It's a kick flip. Add a little bit of speed, go fakie. It's the same thing. Add a lot of speed. There's no inertia in the game, so you can't really factor that in. So what you could do in session is like you could actually make your stats different. So you can make your flip speed in regular or Goofy slow. So it is harder, but the input is the same. Can also turn on an option for lower pop and harder tricks. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's some cool things in there for sure. I should really download Session, I guess. Yeah, it's worth a shot. I definitely recommend Session to grab it. No argument. We're just having a discussion, you know, about skate games that we're all passionate about. We're not having a fight. Just discussing stuff because we want these games to be good, you know. Session's still in alpha, XL, and beta. Yeah, but they've both been in development for 6 years. Doesn't matter. No, XL's not in beta. It's in 1.0. There's a beta on for multiplayer, but that's it. You guys have to remember though, like I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with Session over the years, but Session has been scrapped and rebuilt 2 or 3 times now from the ground up completely. And what I'm saying here is almost they have to rebuild it again. I think if they added animations over top of what they have now, it'd be kind of like putting a band-aid on the problem. That's a good metaphor. You know what I mean? It's not going to fix the problem. It's not going to make the game fun to play. It might make the game fun to make edits for a few weeks, but it'll die off. This game was fun to play before the animations. This game looked like crap, like last year, and it was fun to play. My only concern, I guess, guys, is like Session, like they're making like the whole game about those controls. Like maybe it could work, it's right, but there's so many bugs. But they're making tutorials in the story mode about the game around those controls. It's gonna jump into the game. It's gonna teach you these controls. Like they're putting money and you know, towards those controls. I don't know. When I make videos on this stuff, what am I gonna do? Lie? Like, do I sit there and lie that it's fun, or do I actually criticize what I truly feel? That's my dilemma. It's like I want to make videos on Session, have fun, but I have to point out the stuff that I truly feel. Same thing with XL. I'll criticize everything about it all the time. XL has a lot to criticize. Oh, of course, yeah. We're used to it. We're used to it. You just have to realize that XL probably doesn't communicate because we criticize it so heavily. And if people start jumping over to Session and start criticizing it, hopefully they can, you know, not get discouraged. I'm not hired by Creature. I'm not hired by Easy Days, or I'll say whatever I want all the time. I'm not gonna hurt anybody's feelings, but I'll call them out for stuff that's wrong. I'll back my points up with facts. I'll defend my thoughts to the death, man. I'm super passionate about what I do. Dumb as it is. Would you let one of them hire you if the money was right? You know what? I don't think so. I don't think that would be good, because I would just become a shill for that game, and I think that would be... I don't know. That wouldn't make any sense at all. That was sick. Big spin blunt on the A-frame, but he was really doing pop shove at blunt coming out regular. Yeah, like you can call that big flip, because like technically you are doing a big flip. Like you're going 270. I don't know. Tricks are weird. There's no right and wrong answer, I don't think. It's to the point now with skateboarding, there's so many new tricks happening that nobody knows what to call anything. If someone said they did a big spin front blunt down something, I would think they went to fakie. But it would also make sense to me if they said big spin blunt to fakie.
There's no way, dude. There's no.
Yeah. To me, it's not like a right or wrong. It's more or less like language. Like I can tell you the same thing a bunch of different ways. As long as I'm translating to you what I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. They weren't named to be future-proofed. That's for sure. Frontside, backside nollie versus fakie is the worst. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Fakie grinds are horrible. But down in the barracks, you see like nollie cab and like nollie. You'll see like this. They call this nollie backside half cab. It's like, bruh. I said this before. Everything should be called a Rodney, man. If you're going by like by who invented each trick, you know, got the Rodney flip, the anti-Rodney. That's a cab. Yeah, different locations are different too. Like even like what do you guys call forward flips? Like dolphin flip, forward flip. I've heard a bunch of different names for that. So I would usually call it a forward flip though. When I tell somebody it's like, yo, I did a dolphin flip today, they'd be like, oh, what's that? But if I say I did a forward flip today, they'd be like, oh, you flipped the board forward. They wouldn't have to ask. Maybe they would. I don't know. I have those tricks. I'll show you. I have a bunch of those weird tricks. Fakie forward flip? Bruh. Look at this one. What's this called? Bruh. Emergency room flip. Just the milk flip. That's my death blow. Yeah, for sure. I think forward flip and dolphin flip, like that trick is my death blow for sure. I wouldn't do that in a game of skate though. But forward flip, that's a good trick. What I want to try to learn next is like a forward flip, but with a 180 body varial the same direction as the board. So it's like a crazy like forward looking backside flip. Like how Versace Plug does it. Have you seen those? Yo, Smells, what up? What? How's the stream been? It's been pretty good. Day's kind of flying by with you guys. Backside tails, one trick I had. Yeah, exactly. I love grinding rails. I think my favorite thing to do in skateboarding is grind stuff like handrails and hubbas. And I love being able to, like, I would love building like the back tail down it, like, you know, back lip down a handrail. Oof. What I heard on, this might just be a rumor, but what I heard, it's just another rumor. So to take it with a grain of salt, but someone in my Discord said that the update's ready and they're waiting on Sony to confirm that it can be something, blah, blah, blah. Sony, waiting for Sony, basically. Could be 2 weeks. And this was last week. So I don't know. I'm thinking that they might have anticipated having the update ready before the SLS event, but it might be delayed a little bit. That could all be false, so yeah. Guys, thank you so much for all the support today and stuff, all the gifted subs and primes and everybody chatting today and stuff. I really appreciate you guys being here. All right, guys. Peace out. See you Thursday.